heddiw o ran undeb PCS, cangen y Llyfrgell Genedlaethol. Mae'n hanfodol bod ni sefyll yn erbyn ffasgiaeth. Fel da ni gweld heddiw ac ar y newyddion, yn ymffodus mae'r eideoleg yma yn tyfu ar raddfa hunllefus yn ein cymdeithas. Wrth edrych yn ôl ar hanes, gallwn weld canlyniadau dinistriol os mae awdurdodaeth ac anoddefgarwch yn ennill tir. Mae'n yn ennill tir drwy feddiannu meddyliau gan fwyd o ffug gwybodaeth, ffynant ar ofyn, gwawdiant y bregus, dyma ei strategaeth. Mae ffasgiaeth yn manteisio ar ansicrwydd economaidd, gyda phobl yn methu rhoi bwyd ar y bwr, stryglo i dal i rent. Dyma economi sy'n exploitio'r bobl. Canfanteisio ar y frwydr I fyw dan neo-rydfrydaeth yw beth sydd wedi arwain at hyn. Hyrwyddant cenedlaetholdeb a xenophobia fel ateb. Dyma hadau casineb. Ond nid yw hyn yn anochel. Ein dyletswydd yw gwrthod a brwydro yn erbyn y gwenwyn yma. I addysgu'n hunan a'n gilydd. I sefyll mewn undod. Rhaid sicrhau mae'n cymuned yw'r flaenoriaeth. Adeiladu cysylltiadau drwy ymelodia undeb yn y gweithle ac ymgyrchu dros gyfiawnder. Rhaid newid y drefn. Dim ond ni fel cymunedau all frwydro nôl a datrys y broblem. No passeran!
So, my name is Sully. Some of you might have known me already. I'm going to start mine off as a Muslim student in Aberystwyth, as a Muslim in the UK. The way Muslims traditionally start our speeches with a quick prayer, and then I'll get into it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ربي إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير فقير. Oh indeed, my Lord, I am in need of what good you would send to me. Ydy hi ddim ein gwlad ni hefyd? Ydy ond mae nhw ddim yn credu. I grieve the losses my people made to get here, the violence we faced in the 50s, 60s and 70s. I have long grieved the pain that it means to be isolated from the past violence, but not from its consequences. I have the weight saddled onto me for community trauma I cannot avenge. I grieve now also that I very much do have trauma of my own to avenge, because I know it should not be so, and yet it is again. I grieve for a future thrice stolen from me by the machinations of this United Kingdom, and for a past I cannot return to. For a present I find is being stolen from me, even as I stand and scream aloud. It should not be like this, O people of Britain. I say this again now. It should not be like this. You do us a grand injustice once again. This is not the first time, as a nation, as a racial class, that we have been failed by the minimums. We have been failed at getting even the littlest of things that we should have had. The peace that our community deserves as our human rights. I know I should be gentle, I should be kind, I should be understanding. Surely you must be scared by this fascist violence too. Well, I deny you that. You do not get to be scared. These are your hooligans, allowed off their leashes and causing all manners of problems. Whose husbands are those? Whose sons? Whose brothers? Whose fathers? I will tell you whose sons. Sons of the same men as last time, husbands to the daughters of those same men. Shoulder to shoulder with the fascists of old are these new fascists, and they are not springing forth from the bare earth. These are your sons and brothers, O people of Britain. What they do tells me about how you raised them. And you know, I had contemplated telling you what is thoroughly deserved to the British public, telling exactly what the consequences of British nationalism are in depth. But you know them, you see them everywhere now. The consequences of British nationalism are writ large in our world. And I'll just say something else. Those of you who know pretty well that history's vicious pendulum is coming down like a guillotine. The world's aging population already struggles to provide adequate resources for all of us in our unjust systems. And that is with 5.5 million Asians and 1.5 million British people working in this country for our benefit. Many of us holding up key systems, working in key labour jobs as doctors, nurses, practitioners, paid carers, teachers and other vital social work. Try taking 7 million immigrants and immigrant communities out of this country and see how this British project would stand up. It would not function. But alongside that, alongside my rage, I speak to you with hope. I am going to let you know that with the death of Earth's empires, also racism is dying slowly. Transphobia, homophobia, anti-Semitism, they're spiking, but they're spiking as the bloody coughs of an ideology with stage 4 cancer. All of these things are very slowly dying. These are, and we have seen them, being countered very thoroughly, very actively by our communities across the country. We've seen it in Brighton, where fascists were outnumbered hundreds to one, and that is the state of our country now. We are getting there. We are so near to the eradication of this violent ideology, and we are nearly there. Tommy Robinson, Jada Franzen, and the whole breed of them can rage as much as they please, but the world as it existed in the 1950s, when white nationalists could shoot my grandmother in the eye, does not exist anymore. It is dead, that world. All of those horrors of the 20th century will not carry until the 22nd. I tell you now, O Britain, these evils are dying. I bear witness that we have moved past them. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Thus I testify. Islamophobia, racism, transphobia, homophobia, anti-Semitism, and all of their ilk are dying ideologies, and we are proof. Thank you all.
I'm Joey Slake, a local activist in Aberystwyth as well as a union member in both. It's just not loud enough. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so I'm a local activist in Aberystwyth as well as a union member in both UCU and also our local tenants union, Unite Community. I've been asked to say a few words on the horrific violent events that spanned the past couple of weeks. Firstly, it's really good to see the numbers here today, it really is. Especially in the summer when a lot of the students are away, there's a real number of people today. Lots of community groups and individuals getting together so quickly to get the far right off our streets, our villages and our towns in this part of Wales. I'm glad to have taken part in the Women in Black Vigil, one of our community groups, which started this demonstration so that we can remember the 3 little girls who were murdered in Southport and the 10 people injured in the attack, 8 of whom were also young girls, and the traumatised families and community. The terrible attacks on the young girls were, as we know, hijacked and instrumentalised by the far right to enact racist, particularly Islamophobic violence and violence against migrants in towns and cities across the UK. The firebombing of hotels which were housing migrants, the vandalism of mosques, the assaults on black and Asian people were unforgivable. But what is also unforgivable is the years and years of scapegoating migrants and particular ethnic minorities for society's problems by our mainstream media and our supposedly liberal politicians and political commentarians.
You need to speak like that.
Yeah? Okay. For instance, the new PM, the new Prime Minister Starmer, even recently claimed, just before he was Prime Minister I think, there are too many migrants in the NHS. How rude. Yeah, how rude. I'll read out part of UCU, my union's statement on the organised racist violence and this particular matter. The racism we have seen did not occur in a vacuum. It is the result of decades of emboldening anti-migrant racism by Britain's political and media class. Those who have stoked far-right rhetoric are culpable and must now face consequences. The government needs to tackle both anti-migrant rhetoric spewed by segments of the press and end its own pandering to racist panics about refugees. These past 2 weeks have been really worrying for some of the people in our communities and the individuals in our town. And this part of Wales, including our international students, our international workers, and the refugee community, and to anyone who has had to fear for their personal safety, homes and livelihoods, I offer you my solidarity. And I think solidarity and coalitions see off the far right. Today we're seeing solidarity, and last week we saw a massive show of community groups, unions and individuals coming out on the streets in their hundreds and their thousands. This saw off the far right. This got the fascists off our streets. It wasn't the police, it was community action. It wasn't law and order, it was community action, solidarity and coalition. As far as I know, no fascist has turned up today, and that's a testament to the work done last week and the work done today in our town.
And no Tories.
But we shouldn't be complacent. In the words of Emma Dabry, author of What White People Should Do Next, racism isn't an anomaly, and we shouldn't be surprised when it happens. Yeah, I'll take that. We should call out racism, hold our political class to account when they spew racist rhetoric. We should also be ready to keep fascism off our streets, maintain solidarities and connections, and be ready to act quickly and be on the streets again at short notice, like, a matter of hours. Our unions play an important role too. They have the resources and they can get out the numbers. And finally, we should continue to build solidarity in our community. Be a community that knows itself and celebrates diversity and multiculturalism. I was in Leicester last week. I'm originally from Leicester, and it was brilliant to see people celebrating really proudly that the far right had no presence there in recent events. One person said to me, "This is a place full of generations of migrants, and multiculturalism works here every single day." Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Shwmai, salam comrades! I'm so proud of Aberystwyth today. Seeing you all here shows me we are right. We stand here against the racists that try to divide us. And we are showing them we will win. We all have an idea who is funding this surge of racism, which entity is behind it, and why they are doing it. Zionists. Yes! They are committed to the genocide of many people, and my people, and if they can hide their crimes by fueling hatred in this country, they can't. We can tell, we can see. And because that's their tactic. They only know hatred and death and destruction. We only want peace and prosperity for everyone. We are on the right side of history. We are on the right side of history. We need to stay united. Don't let them split us. Thank you. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Mae pob gobaith ar fynd hefyd yn cefnogi beth sydd wedi cael ei ddweud heddi. We co'r gobaith myself, I mean, we endorse what has already been said. Okay. Alright. Ers 2006, mae Cor Gobaith trwy gan wedi ymgyrchu dros heddwch cyfiawnder ar ymgylchedd. Rydyn ni'n cefnogi cyfarfodydd fel hyn, ymgyrchoedd, sefydliadau lleol amrywiol a codi arian ar gyfer cymorth flaengarol a meddygol lle mae angen. Ni'n croesawu unrhyw un sy'n rhannu yn gwerthod i ymuno â ni, peidiwch â bod yn swil. Since 2006, Cor Gobaith has, through song, campaigned for peace, justice and environmental sustainability. We sing to support meetings such as this, campaigns, various local organisations, and to raise funds for humanitarian and medical aid. We welcome anyone who shares our values to join us, so don't be shy. So I'm going to speak a little bit about singing. So canu. Mae mor wahanol i synau erchyll a'i canlyniadau yr wythnosau a blynyddoedd diwetha. Mae canu ar hyd yr oesoedd wedi mynegu dioddefaint, protest, gwrthwynebiad, cyd-gefnogaeth a hefyd wrth gwrs llawenydd y dathlu. A maen nhw'n atsainio fyth yn ein cynnion ni. Singing so different to the horrific noises and the consequences that we've heard in the past few weeks and previous years. Singing has always expressed suffering, protest, resistance, mutual support as well as joy and celebration. And some of those songs, all their echoes, are with us still. Felly, meddwl am gerddoriaeth yn wedi canu Aberystwyth a heddwch. Aberystwyth has got and has offered a lot. Mae Myreryd Hopwood, athro ym Mhrifysgol Aberystwyth, ysgrifennydd yr Academi Heddwch Gymraeg, bardd a llawer mwy, a'n harchdewrwydd newydd, wedi disgrifio'r angen i newid o feddwl am sicrhau heddwch i'w adfer. Mae mor hawdd i ni fynd yn ddigalon a cholli gobaith, ond dywed Myreryd bod heddwch yn bodoli, ond bod rhaid edrych amdano weithiau ac ymdrechu amdano. Mae hefyd angen i ni newid neu wrthod derbyn penawdau fel paratoi am rhyfel, sôn am rhyfel, a newid i'r baratoi ar gyfer heddwch, sôn am heddwch. Mae neges heddwch yn greiddiol yn Eisteddfod Genedlaethol sydd o hyd yn grochan o gerddoriaeth, fel Eisteddfodau'r Urdd a Llangollen sydd hefyd yn rhannu ein nod o heddwch gyda'r byd. So thinking about music, particularly singing Aberystwyth and its role in peace. Myreryd Hopwood, Professor at Aberystwyth University, Secretary of the Welsh Peace Academy, poet and much more, and our new archdderwydd, suggests that we change from thinking about achieving peace to restoring it. She says peace exists, but we must look for it, strive for it. Also, we need to change headlines and mindsets and themes of preparing for war to those of preparing for peace. Our Eisteddfod last week, a cauldron of music for all ages, has the message of peace at its heart, and as have the Urdd and Llangollen. And they relay this to the world very positively. Profwyd bod canu o fydd i iechyd meddwl corfforol a chymdeithasol ac yn hybu ymdeimlad o gymuned. Mae cerddoriaeth yn gallu adeiladu pontydd. We can bring, through music, we can build bridges, help us connect with each other and communities worldwide. It's an international language. Aberystwyth has played its part, thinking about Joseph Parry, Aberystwyth, that became the inspiration for Nkosi Sikeleli, South Africa's anthem. Aeth cerddoriaeth yr Athro Parrot ag Aberystwyth yr byd, and the word came to Aberystwyth through Professor Parrot. Annie Hughes Griffiths from Llangeitho, cerddor medrus a chasglwr caneuon gwerin, was one of the women, inspirational women, who arranged to take a petition from the women of Wales to America, peace petition in 1923. recently, and mwy diweddar, Dr Russell David Hume has worked considerably with orchestras and musicians in Ukraine, and following the war has worked to raise funds to help them. Musicians, cerddorion fel Bethan Miles a'i ffrindiau wedi codwi ymwybyddiaeth yn Aberystwyth ar gyfer ffoaduriaid a gwledydd wedi'i rwygos. So again through music, raising funds and awareness. Only recently, Susie Ennals a dros gant o gantorion dros Gymru daeth at y gilydd yma am ddiwrnod gwych o ganu. Susie Ennals brought together over 100 musicians and singers from Wales to raise money, a significant sum for water aid. We also have Elsewhere Exist that has contacts and built bridges with Chile. And I've seen there are many other instances, and I know today we've had Jeremy and Mary Turner here and Kerry Savannah, who've also built bridges with other communities, particularly with young people. And with the last one, I can't not mention Carl Jenkins's body of work. His One World last year involved thousands in a world choir and a world orchestra for peace. Japanese listeners described his music as healing, and a critic called his work a gift to humanity. Last one. Penny Stone, a prolific writer and singer of protest and support songs, says that singing enables us to express very strong and sometimes difficult emotions in a safe and effective way together. So singing is important. It sends out messages loud and clear. It revives and energizes us and brings it together. As Penny says, no more, not in my name, nid yn fy enw. I orffen, to finish, just a couple of quotes from our songs. I swear by the lake on the mountain that I will never rest until all oppression is ended. We have the power to stand and defend with love and compassion and truth. Step by step, the longest march can be won. Many stones do form an arch, singly none. And finally, from Cai o Hyd, dim ond I ti a minnau hau un hedyn yn awr, mewn gwanwyn o flynyddoedd fe fydd cynhaiaf mawr. If we all sow a small seed, however hopeless we feel and how overwhelming things might seem, between us we can achieve a great harvest.